How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all jacked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from a name that I'm sure I'm going to butcher, Quique Alcatena. I believe he's an Argentinian illustrator whose work is really great. Kind of has a feel of Geiger mixed with Mobius, mixed with like South American tendencies as well. Just really gorgeous stuff. I really dig his line work and his draftsmanship and his imagination. I think his panel layout is really interesting as well. But just check out some of these characters that he comes up with. Really, really phenomenal. I really love this facial expression over here too. I thought that one was really great. That big thick lip and that's just hollow eyes. Really wonderful stuff. So I urge you guys to check out more stuff from him. I think he is a phenomenal talent, and I don't see hardly anyone talking about him, and I think his work deserves a ton of praise and a ton of study as well. These almost Nebuchadnezzar-like Babylonian giant heads are really cool. It makes me just want to know what the story is behind that thing. I really like this character here too. I love that he gave him that little belly paunch right there. I thought that was a really nicely done, as long with the curves in the front and this kind of straight in the back there. Just a really well done figure there, and a gorgeous scene overall, but this character in particular stood out to me. I just really liked the way that he dealt with the stomach there. I thought that was brilliantly done. So like I said, I urge you guys to check out more stuff from him. I think he is phenomenal, but I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from him, and this is a translation, so forgive me for a little bit of liberty that I took with it to try to get it to work a little bit better. But he said, "I open the doors of imagination and let it take me by assault." I love that. Love that. I love the way that he phrased it. And again, it's a translation, but I think this translation just was super powerful to me, to just let your mind be open to however your imagination takes form in your medium that you're using, and to let it take you by assault. And getting assaulted by imagination is just such a wonderful thing, and I love it whenever I have those moments of imaginative clarity, and I really revel in those. And I think most people who are creative in whatever medium it is, you struggle to find those moments of where your imagination just overtakes you and you just know instantly how you're going to do it, and it's almost like you're the ancients used to call it being visited by the muses, where they just kind of overtake you and something just spills out, and it's that sense of honing that connection between your spirit to your mind to your body to out into the world through the medium that you're using, and also having that muscle memory and that knowledge base that you can access that stuff cleanly as well. So let's go ahead and get into some animation before I ramble on about ridiculous things as usual. We're going on another day with our Beast Run animation. We're using the Goon rig from How to Cheat in Maya and the Wolfdog from Creative Crash. And we're also using Autodesk Maya 2014. For any information on all of the stuff that we've talked about so far, check out the links in the description down below. I think today what I was thinking I wanted to hit up was to try to do a little bit more with the Goon character himself and try to break that down a little bit more. So let's go ahead and switch our perspective here, and let's start doing a little bit more on there. So right now I think we just have kind of the ups and downs here, so what I want to do is probably go in between here and rotate that down here, up there, and down there, up there, and down here, up there, here and up there. Again, down a little bit more, and we'll offset with the rotation in the chest here in a moment as well. Again, down there. Keep it down a little bit more. Then up here. Down here, up there, down here, up there, down here, up there, and then back. And let's look at our graph editor here, make sure that still feels alright. This one right there seems like there might be a little bit of trouble, so let's just see where that is. I'm pretty sure it's during the jump where we're seeing that take place here. Yeah, just want to get rid of this one there because we're just keeping him held down a little bit more. So this one might be a little bit more because the recoil that would come after that. So let's try and just balance these out a little bit more because I'm sure it's a little over the top at this point. And this one would still probably be a little bit more there. And go kind of back to where we were looking at before. Alright. So let's just kind of frame through that and see how that feels here. Okay, and next let's look at the chest here. And I'll go ahead and set that. And we'll go down a little bit more there. I think I might switch his hands over into IK as well. We'll see though. Go out a little bit here. Down a little bit there. Out a little bit there. Because I'd like to keep the hands on the character as well. Down there. And I'm not super too worried about keeping the hips and the chest exactly on the same frame. I want a little bit of variety through here. Or normally I would say I want them to be on the same frame for the offset, but it's okay to have, I think in something like this, we'd want a little bit of jank in there because he's bouncing along through here, so we don't want it to feel too even or anything. Go up a little bit there. Go down here. And keep him down a little bit more. But yeah, putting those hands in IK I think is going to be a better overall result for us. So we'll go ahead and go here. We'll go down there. Up there. Down here. Up there. Down here. Up there. And back down. Okay. And now let's look at those moves and make sure, again, I think this frame right there is probably in the middle of that jump where we want to have it held up. I think it's just a key that's hung around from before. Yeah. So we don't need that one there. We'll go ahead and just delete that one. Go ahead and bring this up a little bit more. Make sure that one and that one are a little bit more. And then we'll balance these out a little bit more throughout so they're not as exaggerated throughout the movement. But we definitely want during that jump for that to be more exaggerated than what we have throughout the rest of it. So I'll bring those back here. And up there. And up there. It doesn't have to be exactly even, but a little more so than what we have. Okay, let's just try doing a play blast. We haven't really done one yet, and just see how this is coming together here. Alright. Not perfect or anything, but it's a little more loose, so that's great. Let's go ahead and switch those hands over into IK, and also want to do some. I need to fix this stuff with his head. It's a little too abrupt at this point to really move on from any other thing. I try to sometimes. I don't know if that's very well spoken English. When I'm approaching a shot, whatever tends to stick out the most is usually the thing that I'll attack first, and just keep going down that route until it's harder and harder and harder for me to see things that are sticking out as not working or as not following with the flow of the shot. So in this case, like I said, the two things that are really sticking out to me now when I'm play blasting it, and that's not the only things, but the main things that I'm seeing when I'm watching that, are that the hands need to feel like they're planted in the fur of that character, and right now they're just kind of moving with the chest, which is okay, but not really the ideal behind there. I was thinking maybe we would get away with not having to do too much there, but I think it's just not going to work. So we'll keep those in IK, and also the neck needs to kind of counter animate what the chest is doing so that the head's not bobbing so much. It's a little more focused there. So that being said, let's go ahead and grab the hands here. The handsies. Handsy. Let's go here and go there. And we'll turn our IK weight on. That means we're going to need to turn those controllers back on there and get those hands back where we want them. And we're going to have to do a little bit of counter animating here, but I think in the end overall it'll be a little bit better for us because we won't have those places where the hands slip all the way down into the wolf character, which is not what we want here. So again, we want to kind of hide a little bit so it would feel like it's digging into the fur or grabbing onto the fur. It's kind of the idea that we want. And if we had a rendering team and a fur and lighting team and everything doing our shots for us, and we weren't just concerned about the animation, I'd go through and attack that stuff for us. So I'm gonna, I guess, I don't know if it's a cheat, but we're not going to concern ourselves too much with that kind of stuff. So that would be a whole bunch of other passes that we'd be thrown on here to do our lighting and texturing and all that stuff. We're just concerned really with the movement and the storytelling beats behind our stuff for right now. So bring that in. I think we want to go a little bit more like this, a little bit more over. It's a little too grippish. Okay, let's get that elbow twist down a little bit more. Maybe go a little more like that. And this one, let's get that elbow down a little bit more and bring it in, up. Still try and get a little bit of variation for our silhouette here. But yeah, something more like that. Okay, let's grab both of those and then make sure we set those throughout there. And make sure we don't have a switch or anything. Okay, so let's see. So our hands really stay planted on there, and we're gonna need to do some animation on them, but I'm not gonna concern ourselves with that just yet. Like I said, we want to kind of attack the main things for right now. So I'm going to set that. I feel the neck is definitely one of the big ones that we want to get here. So let's go ahead and rotate that down a little bit more here. Be up a little bit more there. there. Let's see, what frames are we really hitting these on? Let's maybe go down a little bit more there. Try to figure out how we want to approach this here. Just so we kind of keep the head a little more in universal space here. So I'll go down a little bit more there, delete that one. Because we still want a little bit of movement throughout there, but we don't need as much. Bring it up a little bit. Down a little. Up a little bit. Down a little. Up a little bit here. Down a little there. One frame later. There. That might be a little too far pushed there. We'll bring it back to like that. Delete that one. Delete that one. Keep it down a little bit more. Down. Might be a little too pushed. And bring that up a little bit more here. Down a little bit there, up a little more here, down a little there, up a little more, and back down. So we're just, like I said, kind of counter animating what we had on the chest there, and we'll balance this out a little bit better here too. Probably tone it down a bit more as well, and then we'll do some actually in the head, not just the neck here too. That can be a little more exaggerated as well, just so it feels like it's kind of going in the same way with the same amount. There, we'll pull that one back a little. All right, so let's see how that feels on our shot here. We'll do another play blast and take a look at that. Alright, I think that feels better. Like I said, it's just kind of counter animating to keep that head a little more steady. We still have a little bit of movement in there, but it's not as over exaggerated there. Let's see. I think in the beginning it feels a little off there. First one down a little bit more too. Let's look at the head now. Try and do a little bit there in the head. Go up about 4. Just a little bit of drag down. A little bit up. Let's see. Down there, a little bit up. It's just every 4 frames or so. Down there, up, just so we still have a little bit of movement in that head. And we might have to scale that back a little bit more too, but we'll see. And we'll still have it be down a little bit more there. This one can be up. Probably till about 54. Be down again. Up. Down a little bit there, and go up again, down a little there, up again, and then back. Alright, and let's take a look at how that feels here. Alright, it's a little better. The front looks, back feels like it's a little too much rotate. Don't worry about that just yet, or let's get more into yeah, let's do that. It just feels a little too over the top. So let's look here and look at our rotate X's there, and we'll just pull those back a little bit more overall. Okay, let's do another play blast and see. Alright, that looks a little better. Okay, and kind of want to get a little bit of side to side here. I feel like that would help us a little bit. So let's look. Oh, also, I think I'll bring this one and translate X here in just a little bit more. I feel like it's a little too extreme. Let's try and get, let's say, what, every 8 frames, a little bit of side to side here. A little bit over there, a little bit this way, a little bit of that way, a little bit over this way. Again, not a ton, but just so I can have some there. Let's figure out what frame those were going to be on. A little bit over this way, the other way. This way, 8 frames from there, that way. 8 frames from there would be this way, and then back. Now, again, this is probably too over the top, so we'll scale it in, but I think it would help us just add a little more variety to the movement here. So we get a little bit of sway there. Again, I don't love those knees, how they're working, but I think they work okay. We gotta think about what camera we're playing to. They're a little too far spaced out from that side, but let's see. And let's look here. I think it was 8. Push it a little to that side, so I'll push this a little to the front here, a little that way, that way, little that way, little that way. Get the camera working here. I know we had one at 77, so be a little bit there, and 69. Actually, I think it would be this way, that way. And what was it, 8 frames before that would be 61. Something like that. I believe we did it right. Yeah. Okay. So it's just kind of offsetting the sway that we did in the back, but just so we get that little bit of shift there. I'll help make this feel a little more fluid. Movement here, and we'll zero that out over there so we end off a little bit more. Alright, we have a little bit of side to side here. Okay, and let's look at play blast of that from our camera here, which I think I tweaked a little bit. It's okay. I think we're doing something kind of like this, right? So we're off screen there. Yeah, I think that was closer to where we were at for our camera. So let's do a play blast there and see how that. All right, it's starting to come together a little bit better now. We still need to do some rotate in the Y and Z as well, so I'll go ahead and do that here. And again, let's go ahead and just go back to our other camera and shorten our curves again. And I haven't saved the file for a little while, so let's go ahead and do that here real quick. And remember, it's always good to save multiple versions and to save often. And let's look. So I'll do rotate. We do 8 was a little over that way. Let's see how we want to approach that. Let's do rotate Z instead. This way, this way. Again, not a ton of this, but we'll do a little bit. This way. And then we had 177. Should be this way a little bit. And then 69 this way. 61 that way. Okay, and let's look at the rotate Z's there and make sure we zero that out. Alright, and we'll bring those back. We don't need a lot of that, but just so we can get a little bit of that twist in there. And now we'll do the opposite in the hips there. So let's grab the hip controller here, or the root, and go here to 77. Go there. Go here. Might be going the wrong way here. We'll see in a second. Then go back to the beginning here. That way. That way. That way. This way. That way. Alright. Pretty sure that's not completely correct just yet. That up here. Seems like it should be the other way around, right? Let's see. 16, then 24 was our next one here. And then 32. We want this to feel more balanced out, so something like that to kind of offset what we did at the front here. Bring that over there. Then our next one I think was 61 here, which feels about right. I think we're on the right path towards the end there. And go here. It's a little overshoot, kind of trying to keep it fairly straightforward so we just get that twist in there, not necessarily that it's at an angle, but we just get that twist in there. So bring that over. Okay. And then the next thing I want to do, should we do a play blast after that? Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay. Nice thing. We should see if we can find kind of a tummy controller so we can get a little bit more curvature in the back too. Then I still want to do some rotate Y, but is there some sort of middle controller to this character at all, so we could get some more variation in the spine shape? Doesn't appear that there is. Let's see. No. Oh well. It would take a whole different approach to build that back in there, so I think we'll skip it for now, but it would be nice if we could get a little bit more arc up. I mean, we do have something like this, but I don't feel it's very, like there's a ton of arc there. Just to get a little more change of shape would be nice, but we'll continue on with where we're at. So I think at, let's just say 4 here. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate Y, and then again at 12 the other way, and again this isn't going to be a ton. I'm sure we'll scale it back, but just so that we can get a little bit more of that twist and not just tilt here. 36, go the other way, and we'll scale this back to not a lot at all, and let's see, 73. That's where we'd want to do another one. And 80, the other way. Let's look at rotate Y's. 73, then 8 frames before that would be, what, 61? No, 65, right? For that, which would be 57. I'm thinking 65 and 57. That's where I am. Math. It's always fun. Alright, so where did we end off here? 37 was our last one here. And then before that, 4 and 12. Clean up everything in between here. And then 20. And these are just kind of arbitrary frames, but I just wanted to get this in so it wasn't at the same time as our rotate Z's and rotate X's, so there's a little bit of break there. And then we'd have 28. Scale these back again. And then we'd have 36. Should be here. I'll flat off till we hit again at 57. So let's let it kind of be flat till about 52. Then we'd have what, 57 here. Bring that up. And next one was 65, right? 8 frames later from that. And then we have 73. And there. Okay. Just so we get that little bit of twist in there. And now let's offset that by doing a little bit in the chest here. So do want to do a little bit of rotate Y here. And then we'd have 73. So we go a little bit this way. And then 65, a little bit that way. 57, a little bit this way. And then what do we have? Let's start back from the beginning, which we did at 4. Come on, camera. There we go. Okay, so let's look at it head on here. So like that, and then we'd have 12. Should be like that. And 20, go the other way. And 28 this way. And 36 that way. Alright, now let's clean that all up a little bit more. And tone some of it down a little bit so it's a little more balanced here. Just kind of evening these out a little bit more. Let's start a little bit like that. Give a little bit like that. Alright, so that should give us that little bit of tilt there. So how are we doing on time? We still have a little while. Let's get back into the Goon character then in a second here. Let's do a quick play blast and just see how this is. Alright, starting to look a little better. Again, I'm trying to get close up on here so we can see it. So it's not the whole shot, it's just that little bit here. I feel like that's going through. We toned down that hip a little bit better. So let's approach the next thing that we're going to want to do, which is going to be let's see. Let's look at the rotate X's here. I think these ones are going to need to be over a little bit more. those down when need be. So go ahead and set them here. And then there. Let's go just to rotate Y's here. Set that, and we'll go 16 here. Oh, that'd be 4. Go ahead and bring those back up a little bit more. And 16, bring it down. Down. 20, bring it back up. And back up here. 24, bring those down. And down again. 28, bring it back up. Let's just do kind of one at a time. It's taking too long. Do it the other way. Up again. Down here. Up again. Again, we'll have to tweak some of those posing a little bit more in a second. So I'll set that here. Put that down there. Delete that. Delete that one. I'm going to keep it up there. And push it down there. 4 frames before that, which was 57. Bring it up here. Up here. Down there. I think we might do some forward and back as well. I think that might help us here. Up here. Down there. And back up a little more. Okay, now let's go to the other shoulder here. Move our camera back here. Come on, camera. Boy, this camera. Sorry, camera was being stubborn there. So let's grab that shoulder controller again, and let's take a look again with where we're at here. So go ahead and bring this one up a little bit more here. Down. Up a little bit more. Down. Forward. There. Up a little bit more. Down again. Up here. Down there. Up here. And push it down there. Up here. Keep it up. Bring it down there. Delete that one. Delete that one. Keep it up a little bit more here. Okay. And now back to where we were here before. And get that down there. again. Up here. And bring that down. And up again. Okay, now let's look. Where do we have our translate Y's here? I think we're going to do a little forward and back here. Just a little bit. So, up there. Let's try doing a little bit of forward there. And a little bit of back here. A little bit of forward there. A little bit of back. 26 would be forward. 30 would be back. 34 would be forward. 8 would be back. 42 forward. 46 would be back a little bit more. Keep it back again. This would be forward here. Back. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. And so 75, 79 would be forward, and then a little bit of back. Okay, I'm sure that's real rough right now, so and we'll tone it down a little bit more as we go along. Go ahead and delete that one. And where did we start this at? 9. Okay, so we're going to need a little bit more before that, so that would be 5. And go from there. Okay. Just so we have a little bit of that kind of circular movement throughout there as well. And try to balance that out a little bit more. And let's go ahead and play blast through that and see how we like it. Okay. It's okay, but I think that it's not going forward enough, so let's push those forwards a little bit more. So, for example, it would be back there. And these should be exaggerated, so it's really going forward here. Maybe even delay everything one frame. See if that would help us too. Maybe push these ones all back a frame there. And then we'll exaggerate both sides a little bit more. And let's see. Starting to feel better. Let's push it a little bit more. Okay, and then let's look at the rotate X on that hip as well. These ones. push those further back. Maybe do it on the chest here. So, for instance, these guys would be pushed forward, more like that. Actually, let's let them be a little bit further back and get that straight. Okay, let's do a play blast on that. Alright, that's starting to come together a little bit better now. Okay, still have a little bit of time together, so let's see what else we can I think what I want to do, I haven't done anything with the feet yet, so I was thinking what could be fun is to, first of all, I gotta see if we can get that foot controller to show there. There we go. Get it out just a little bit more. So let's set that, and then here would be where feet would go up here. And let's push them out a little bit as well. I'll grab the other one. We'll go out the other way here, so it kind of kicks off there. And these would be down, or they'd go further down, right? Later, be down, in, and 4 frames later, find those controllers here, go up for us, and go out a little bit, up, out, instead of doing it this way, let's speed this process up. We'll just grab them and just flick between those for right now, and we'll add a little bit of variety in a little bit. Later, delete these, delete that, grab what we have at 41, bring that to what, about 54. Let's zoom in a little bit more here. And really go even higher here, and probably further out as well. To probably what, 44, about 58. Bring this down and over. And grab the feet again here. Here, out, and I go 4 frames later. And bring equals to can't help but think maybe these guys are a little delayed here. Let's see how they like it. I'm sure we'll do some more tweaking, but we're probably getting close to our time together for today. So let's go ahead and turn our layers off, and let's do a quick play blast and just see how that's coming together. All right. Still need some more polish and everything on there, but it's coming together a little bit. So let's do a play blast of everything, and we'll wrap up for today, because I can't believe it, but our time is already coming to a close for today. Alright, still is a decent amount of work to go here. We got to just kind of mix things up a little bit more. It still feels a little too even throughout, like it's, I don't know, it feels reminiscent of being kind of a pushed cycle, and I'd rather have it be a little more fluid. So we're going to have to get in there and add some more variety and tweak our timing and our posing a little bit more, so each step feels a little more like it has its own timing to it rather than so much of a pattern. But it's coming together. It's getting there. We still have quite a ways to work on that one. But let's take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Quique Alcatena, and he said, "I open the doors of imagination and let it take me by assault." So I urge you guys to do that today as you're carving out some time to work on your own dreams. Open the doors to your imagination. Don't let it stop you. I think one of the things that's difficult sometimes is I try and filter my imagination through my knowledge, and I think that's helpful, but I think sometimes you need to let your imagination take you by assault and just go with it and just see what something becomes. I know there's I forget who it was. I think it was actually Sikra here on YouTube that I was listening to a little bit ago, and he was talking about style, and it kind of resonated, I think, with this, where he has a specific style, but he doesn't always get as much, and I could be misquoting him, but I think this was the heart of what he was saying, that he doesn't get as much out of necessarily doing his style creatively, that where he has more fun is kind of letting the imagery happen rather than trying to stay to something that he knows is like a formula for getting a good image out. And I think it's that kind of battle between those two forces of applying your knowledge to your imagination or letting your imagination control where your knowledge will take you. It's kind of that dichotomy. I don't know if I said that as clearly as possible, but hopefully you understand the gist of it, of trying to get that muscle memory in there, trying to get the knowledge and the thought processes correctly as well, and then trying to also just let inspiration and your imagination run wild, and trying to figure out where you need to stay within the lines and where you need to let your imagination bleed outside those lines. So I love you guys lots. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you had some fun working on this one together. I think it's starting to get there. We still have a ways to go with it, but I think it's starting to come together a little bit more. So probably another 2 or 3 parts on this one. And then we'll go on to another idea, and I'll keep doing some of those stop motion ones too. I'm having fun doing those. Hopefully you guys are. It's a little something different, but if you guys have any tips or tricks for any sort of stop motion too, I'm a complete noob when it comes to that. First one I did was like 2 days ago, so I think the principles definitely go through there, but I don't have any of the real equipment that you need for doing that. So I know there's some. But I think that's part of it too, is playing around with different mediums and different ways to express even your own knowledge. So if you're a musician, every once in a while, moving just from like a guitar to a bass, even though it's pretty much the same ideals behind it, you can start to have some more fun with the medium rather than getting stuck in I don't want to say a rut, but in a very routine pattern. So I'm getting rambly. I love you guys lots. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. I hope that you guys are carving out some time to work on your own dreams, and thank you for sharing some time with me. I always appreciate it. And remember, if you're watching this, that you are the creative future. So go out there and make something amazing today. Go do it. I believe in you. You can do it. Just go and make your imagination come to life. So that'll wrap it up. And we will see you for some more. Oh, you can hear a car alarm go off. I think that means it's really time to wrap up. But we'll see you for some more imagination, some more animation, some more creativity, and some more just having fun working on our dreams together tomorrow.